I had that is. I had the full Santa regalia last year because I was stepping in and filling in. How you doing, April?
Hey,
Santa April.
everybody.
How the heck are you?
I'm
Let's take a look and a listen
good.
here.
I'm good.
Oh man, I don't know
Are we
why.
both blurry? Both of us?
Neither of us look particularly good right now, but that's
Sorry.
it's something about Webinar Jam these days. I don't know what it is. Last time you were fine and I was blurry, but that was on Saturday, right? We did our last webinar on Saturday, and yeah,
I was
it
in a
doesn't look
different
great.
location on Saturday.
Yeah, but I tested my internet connection before we started, and I've got smoking fast internet here right now. So I don't know
Me too.
why.
I'm hardwired in.
Yeah. Oh well. That's okay. You
Hi,
know what? You can
guys.
pretend, everybody. Hey, everybody, welcome to our webinar Wednesday. You can all pretend that we've been drinking because it's around Christmas, and that's why we look the way we do. Wouldn't that be great if the technology could actually measure people's sobriety, and the more drunk you were if you were delivering a webinar, the more blurry you would be and out of focus? That would be cool. That would be
um,
cool. We would then at least we would know. How are you doing, April?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastically. Why am I doing fantastically?
Yeah, why?
You know why.
I do?
Because we got the Evernote course up and running,
Oh, yes.
and
Yes.
we don't have to talk about it anymore. Although I like
No,
talking about
good.
it, but these people have heard a lot about Evernote over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
It's good, but everybody's in the course. All the content. I just recorded the last little piece of the 10th lesson today, just before
Nice.
we went live. So I'm very very happy. So
Everything will drop on Friday. So that'll be
the
exciting
last
then,
pieces, yeah, the
truly.
first 5 lessons are up now, and the last 5 will be done on Friday. So hey, that's great. So this week's webinar
Yeah.
Wednesday is not the most serious webinar Wednesday as far as productivity goes. It's this harkens back. You know, back when I did the TV show, I used to do something called the Santa Steve Special, and this is when we did
Oh,
live TV. And we used to have a live TV show and a pre-recorded TV show. And on the pre-recorded TV show, we would get tons of GAC shipped into the show all the time. And by GAC, I mean, like printers and scanners and, hard disk drives, Bernoulli boxes, and,
GAC. Is that like trinkets? GACs? That's what you call
gadgets
it?
that we'd be showing on the show and set
Oh,
decorations.
gadgets.
Gadgets,
Gadgets.
yeah.
Got it.
So things
I
like,
thought you said GACs.
iOmega drives and zip disks and modems. We'd have like 5 different types of modems and all of this stuff. And what I would do is I would host a live call-in show, and people would tell me what they wanted for Christmas. And then if I had something, I would pull it out of the bag sometimes, and I'd send it to them. It was very fun. People,
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
we gave the stuff away, and we asked people for donations for a charity, and it was
Love
great.
it.
It was great. It was good fun. But we're not giving anything away today, folks. So
I
don't
know
get
you got
your
it. You kind of got them revved up and excited they might be getting a prize.
Yeah, Leland gave me 1+1 for the Bernoulli shout out. Yeah, remember the Bernoulli drives? Back when we would get a 10 megabyte disk and we would be so excited. We had a 10 megabyte disk platters that were about that big and about that thick of hard drives. And then the zip drive, the iMega zip. Oh, man, I walk down memory lane with all of this different technology that we used to have. That's good fun. All right, so today we're going to be talking about gifts for geeks. We probably should have done this last week before Cyber Monday and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm taking a little bit of a serious look at what I think are some of the trends that are happening as far as technology for Christmas, and also just a kind of a wish list of things that I think are cool to give you an idea. But what I'm really hoping today we'll end up doing is you guys will share with me the ideas of the coolest products that you're looking at or what you want to find under the tree or in your stocking come Christmas, technology-wise. And that will really be fodder for me to think about demos that we can do here on the show or moving ahead in different products and different topics that we might be talking about. So there's dual purpose here. One of them is just straight up entertainment. What's cool out there, because I've got one gift that I hope Shannon is
Yeah.
watching and she buys for me. I don't know, she won't. She would never get it for me. But there's only one thing that I kind of want, and it's exorbitant for me, but the rest of the stuff is all pretty practical, and then you can also share to you because you think you're like a real gifted gifter, don't you, April? You work hard on your gifts.
I am definitely a very thoughtful gift giver. Yes. I look to get gifts. I think about it. I search, I research to get people the gift that they would never buy themselves, but absolutely love. And my success rate is pretty high, I would say. I would say it's even for my kids, like they have their, Santa list, but I always get them something that they least expect it.
Kevin's a man after my own soul. He has Fish Finder up there. There are some very cool sonar units and fish finders out there these days that look down and, oh man, they are very cool. There's some. Have you seen the
I
one?
should see if Kevin, my husband's on here. He's feeding that
your Kevin?
fish finder. No, I don't think it is, but that would be something he would say.
There's some that work with your smartphone that are Bluetooth, and it's like a bobber, and you put it on the end of a rod and you cast it out. Like a spinning gear, you cast it out, and where it lands, and then it Bluetooth connects to your smartphone, and you can see what's underneath it. Where you're casting it.
That's a great gift.
But doesn't it concern you having your smartphone out in the boat?
No, because they have waterproof. Like on our boat, we have waterproof stuff. But
if you drop it, it sinks.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the boat, so I don't know, like. Yeah. I think we're just more mindful. Obviously, if we've been drinking, we're a little bit less mindful. But if we are not drinking, we're pretty good. The only thing I would say to that, though, that kind of takes away from the fun of fishing. Do you think? Because it's one thing to have the... No.
Not even close. You mean catching fish takes away from the fun of fishing? No. It doesn't.
You know what? I didn't even know that existed. See, that's a great gift for somebody in my family.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool one. And there's a couple
can tip, Shannon.
Sure. The boat can tip over. Yes, the boat can tip as well. It sinks. Brand new phone. Brand new iPhone. Yeah. If it sinks a brand new iPhone, that's what I want. Exactly. All right. So I've got a not too long a video. It's about a 16-minute video where I go through and we've already seen some of the things mentioned at the beginning. Just the gift ideas, just to get the juices flowing. And then when we come back, I want you guys sharing ideas, share links if they're products, and if you want comments on or share your ideas, just kind of what gifts for geeks and are kind of top of your list. But before I jump into the video, just a quick shout out to all of our patrons. Dottotech, of course, a community-funded channel supported through the generosity of you folks through Patreon. So just thanks so much to all of you that keep us on the air month after month here with Webinar Wednesday and the other content we create at Dottotech. If you're interested in what being a patron of Dottotech is, what's involved with it, April's dropping a link which is to our Patreon page. So basically, by giving us $10 a month, you keep us on the air. You help pay for all of the stuff that we do here at Dottotech, and you get perks as a result. One of the perks is you get access to all of our Webinar Wednesday replays. We deliver these webinars for you each and every week. And to be fair, this week's webinar is not going to be the most educational webinar that we deliver all year, but typically speaking, they're very tutorial in nature and educational, and we try and teach you how to do something. We make them available for 48 hours after we publish them. After we go live, and then after that, they're archived for the benefit of our patrons at Patreon. This is our 110th Webinar Wednesday, so we've got a lot of them there. As well, you get discounts to our courses. Our newest course, Evernote Made Easy, just dropped, version 4. It's a regular price of $199, and our patrons get it at half price, and you are sent all of the information when you sign up as a patron, so you can save a lot of money on our online courses. And our new Evernote course is a bit of awesome. It's a really good course. I know it's going to do well, so if you're interested in learning more about Evernote, that might be a route to save a few dollars and also support us at the same time. So we appreciate both things. All right, so we will jump in and we will watch the video that I pre-recorded yesterday. And once while that's going on, we'll be in chat. As soon as it's done, we will return and we will be chatting with you about gifts for geeks this Christmas. All right.
Yay.
Okay, Christmas is nearly upon us, and it's time to start thinking about shopping for those gifts for geeks. That's if you have not yet taken advantage of Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all of those different things. So I thought today that because I get to look at so much different technology, that I would just share with you some of the kind of creative and cool ideas that I have that you might consider for Christmas. Some of them are gifts that I would want, or things that I have that I recognize that people do appreciate. Talk a little bit about a couple of trends. But then most of today's webinar, we will just we'll be in Q&A. We'll be answering your questions, talking to you folks about what you think are cool ideas and or recommendations for Christmas gifts for the nerds and geeks and more technically in tune people in your life. So I'm going to start with talking to you about one big direction that I think we're moving in technology. And this Christmas is probably going to be the biggest kind of Christmas yet as we migrate into the wearable world. Things like your Apple Watch, things like the watch from Apple, and how these wearables are really coming of age. And now, of course, we have had them for a long time, but some of the new features that are coming into the watches, and it's mainly watches that we talk about for wearables. There's going to be other technology. We'll be seeing glasses and other things coming down the line. But this is the winter of the watch, I would say. Some of the new features make it really compelling, and not just a convenience or a curiosity or a coolness, but there's some real life impact that now the watches are working with us. And I'm speaking, of course, about some of the heart monitoring that's going on and detecting in some cases, not in a way that we would rely on it, but in some cases detecting things like irregular heartbeats and irregular heart rhythms and notifying people that they might have issues in that space. And that all of a sudden brings a whole different a whole different weight to the smartwatch world. Now, in the smartwatch space, there's a ton of watches that you can consider. I mean, that's one of the things about this space is, Apple is not the only watch manufacturer out there. Samsung is doing exceptionally well with its Galaxy Watch, and Fossil even has one. Fitbit, they've been delivering a good variety of fitness watches for a long time, and so the price range that we can get into them in is now from a kind of a low of a couple of $100 or even $100. The ones that are just kind of counting your steps and are nice from that perspective, all the way through to $1,000 for the Apple Watches with the very fancy bands, etc. So there's a broad range. I will say this, that beyond everything else, that the gamification of measuring our activities is, I think, a terrific thing that's happening in the world. I know that I pay a lot more attention to working out when I wear my watch, and that when I'm credited for that workout, when I can go into my activity monitor afterwards and see that I've done the calories, that I've done the workout, that I've taken the steps. That gamification of this entire process, I think, is outstanding. And as you start to embrace it, I think it helps to encourage people to be a little bit more accountable and to accountable to themselves by measuring their results and by measuring their effort. So if you are thinking of getting a watch for a geek or a nerd, if I would definitely include them in the conversation. Make sure that you're getting one that they're comfortable with and one that they want. And I'd also be careful that you're not getting the one and being judgmental towards something that perhaps they don't want. But that's kind of my number one gift, I think, this Christmas is going to be the watches. Now, kind of hat in hand with the watches is a device that I bought a couple of years back, and it also makes a big difference, and it continues the whole theme of being responsible and measuring your results. But not everybody might appreciate it should you buy this particular gift, and that is a smart bathroom scale. Now, these scales are amazing, and they integrate so nicely with the other health apps that we have, such as the Apple's health app on your smartphone or the Samsung one, along with your watch. All of them kind of fit together in this little kind of health ecosystem. But these, if you take a look at what these smart scales do, and you can get them fairly inexpensively. The cheapest one here is $59, and it does an awful lot. Actually, I got one. I think I spent $79 Canadian for mine, and it does most of these things. But if we just look at this little list here, I just looked up what kind of the reviewers thought were the best of them, because I don't know how to measure. I've got one, but I don't know whether it's a good one or not. I mean, it does what I ask it to, but I don't know if there's better ones or more accurate. But the first thing that these smart scales do is they are Wi-Fi and or Bluetooth enabled, so that they can talk to your other devices, especially to your smartphone, and give you feedback so that you can track all of the information that you're putting in. So you don't have to write down your weight each day. but indeed you can track it. Now, the one that I've got, the scale, and most of these scales actually do a kind of they put a little bit of a current through you, and they measure a few other things within your body, and they give you an indication. Now, are they medically 100% accurate? I don't know, but the key is that you're not looking at knowing exactly how much, what the water percentage of your body is, and knowing down to the last percentage what your water percentage is. But what's important is, what's the change over time? Are you changing and moving your body, your muscle mass north, get higher muscle mass and lower body fat? If you see those numbers moving in the right directions, then you're on the right path. So these are the things that they measure. They measure your body mass index, your mass, fat mass, which is a bad thing, your water percentage, your bone mass, which is really interesting, actually your bone density. And some of them have something called pregnancy mode, which I never paid any attention to, no idea what it does. But these are the features that you will get. And so you can watch those, and you can watch how your body water percentage, and especially your muscle mass, your lean muscle mass, and your fat percentage are changing as you go through. Because one of the things that we always say about, as you're working to become more fit, to lose weight, is that muscle weighs more than fat. So watching the fat and the muscle mass percentages change, even if you're not losing weight, can still be encouraging. So I like the reporting back. Sometimes I'm not happy when I step on the scale in the morning. I look at my smartphone and go, oh, how'd that happen? And so watching it and kind of micromanaging it is a bad thing. But overall, it's a good thing. And it's, I think, a terrific gift if now with a big if it's appropriate. You can't be buying people who are considering losing weight a scale, or if they haven't told you that they're considering losing weight, as a spur to get them thinking about doing it a little bit more. I mean, you send them a card that says, hey, you're fat, you should do something about that. No, we don't do that. So I, again, as is with the watch, with a lot of these gifts, with tech gifts, if you are considering it, sometimes the surprise might not be what you want to deliver. You don't want to deliver it as a surprise. You might want to have a quick conversation with the people before you get them these kind of gifts. Now let's talk about a couple of things that I have bought or been given myself and that I like and I think that you should consider. A little less risky than weight loss stuff. One of them is an invention from Pat Flynn and Caleb Wojcik, who is his partner, who has developed a vlogger's dream tripod. It's called the Switch Pod, and this is what it looks like. It's a metal camera mount that you can switch from selfie mode to tripod mode just instantly. And it's got a little screw thing here on the top. Obviously, it just screws into your camera. But this has all the vloggers in the world just kind of going, oh, this is the coolest item. Because most vloggers, when they're doing this kind of vlogging that we do like this, use a GorillaPod, which is the one with the kind of the flexible legs. And then when you go to set it up, to kind of stand it up, it's you've got to kind of adjust things, and it's not super level right away. Plus, you've got kind of the bouncy nature of the bendy of the handles, whereas the Switch Pod is really designed to just do a brilliant job of doing vlogging and switching through to tripod mode. It's simple. It's not like, it doesn't do an awful lot of things. But if there's somebody in your life who is a vlogger, this is a terrific idea of a gift for them. And you can put different types of cameras. Like I've got a small DSLR on it. You can set an adapter up to hold your iPhone on it. You can carry a larger DSLR. And you can also, that's got holes in the side, which you can't see too well. They're threaded here. So you can actually add other things like microphone mounts or lighting mounts. So you can do a couple of other things with it as well. You can also screw a ball head onto it, which will allow you to adjust the angle. One of the biggest limitations of it, actually the only limitation that I can think of, is the fact that the camera is locked at this angle when you set it up as a tripod. So if you want to change the angle, which you can do, say, with the GorillaPod, in order to do that, you need to put a ball head, a little ball joint between the camera and the tripod itself. But the Switch Pod is a great, unique Christmas gift for vloggers in the family. I've been talking a lot about the Rocketbook the last little while. So it is an erasable notebook which has a digital side to it. So the whole concept behind the Rocketbook is using the friction pen. I used to call it Frixion, but then somebody corrected me. The friction pens, which you can get from Staples, and the Rocketbook, you can make notes and then you can erase the page just by wiping it down with a damp cloth. So you've got a kind of an everlasting notebook here that you can carry around with you for a long time without killing a bunch of trees and taking up a bunch of storage space in your office with all of your different notebooks. But of course, we want to retain the notes from anything that we do. So the Rocketbook also has an app, which we've shown you in previous versions of Webinar Wednesday. I won't get into it right now, but has an app which allows you to capture each page. And there's a little index here. You can see this little index here that allows you to automatically direct the pages that you capture to different destinations, such as saving them to Evernote, emailing the notes to yourself, saving them into Dropbox or Google Drive. There's a variety of different places destinations you can send it to, and it's all done with a very simple app. You just basically hold your phone, point at it, and based on what you've crossed off as far as the destination icons, then Rocketbook automatically sends those notes to that destination. It's absolutely freaking brilliant. So the biggest challenges you have if you purchase this gift for somebody is it doesn't quite feel like a paper and notebook. Like fine paper with a ballpoint pen, there's a certain amount of friction that you feel as you're writing. With the friction pen on the pages, it's a very smooth surface, so it takes a much lighter touch and it kind of glides more effortlessly over the page. Some people don't like that. It took me a little bit of time to get used to, but now that I'm used to it, I actually prefer it to regular paper. But if you have somebody who is a journaler, a note taker, loves taking notes, but is interested in being more environmentally responsible and maybe more digital with their ecosystem as they work, then the Rocketbook is a great gift idea. It's available in a variety of different sizes, and it is far less expensive than the other gifts that I've been talking about up to now. So Rocketbook, big thumbs up. I think it's going to be a big Christmas for the Rocketbook folks. I'm going to go outside of what you think I traditionally would be talking about when it's just pure technology and talk about design for a moment. And a tool that I have had in my office and in my fishing bag, frankly, for the better part of 20 years that I would never be without, and I think is one of the best gifts that you can get for somebody who doesn't have it, is this. This is a Leatherman. Now, there's a couple of different models of these kind of universal tools, but I have the Leatherman Wave. I've got several copies of it. One of them I keep in my fishing bag. The other I always keep in my office. Now, why in the technology show, Steve, would you be talking about a multi-tool like this? Because there's so often little things that you have to adjust or packages that you have to open, and so it's got all of the knives and the pliers and the different screwdriver bits. They're all there, and it takes up almost no space, and it's always there for me to rely on. They cost about $100. The Leatherman Wave. If anybody in your family doesn't have one, I recommend you get them one. They're just a wonderful thing to have handy at any time, almost like a universal toolkit. And I am never without it in my office. I know it's not tech, but I guarantee you'll make somebody happy that doesn't have one if you get them one. Now, the bulk of today's Webinar Wednesday is going to be you asking me questions and offering suggestions and sharing your ideas of what outstanding gifts are. Maybe you're going to tell me what you want for Christmas. But the last one is the thing that I want for Christmas. Now, I'm not going to get it for Christmas because nobody's going to get this for me. But as I was kind of doing the research for this, and I've noticed this product several times, I came back to this product and I just want it badly. It's called the Quirky Writer. And this is a keyboard, which is a throwback keyboard to the classic typewriter. Take a look here. It's a classic mechanical key feeling typewriter keyboard that has a defined click, 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 a very mechanical feel. And it's a throwback to that day. So it's getting away from these chiclet keys and these fancy, very sleek, very stylish keyboards. But here's the cool thing about this particular keyboard is it's Bluetooth. You can also plug in by USB. take a look at the different ways that it works. So obviously it can work sitting down just on your computer, and you can either plug it in or connect it via Bluetooth. But you can also use it as a Bluetooth keyboard with any different type of tablet computer or with a Surface. So you've got all of these different ways that you can utilize it. As I say, it plugs in to a regular USB keyboard. And the reviews that I've read say that real typists find that they're far more accurate typing on this. It's a far more satisfying process, having that clickety, clickety, click and the feel of a real keyboard. They totally appreciate. It's even got a hard carriage return, which is programmable, and there's several other programmable keys on it. And the little scroll bars, just like a paper scroll, allow you to scroll up and down on the page as you're working on the page. So it gives you a real throwback feel to the original typewriter days. Now, this isn't cheap. It's like $259 US. By the time I was looking at getting it into Canada with all of the duties and stuff like that, I'm going to be well north of $300 US. If I was to get one, I don't think I'm going to end up with one, but I kind of want it. And now that you've seen it, you kind of want one too, don't you? Yes, you do. Okay, so let's get into the Q&A and let's talk about all the different ideas you might have, or tell me what you might be wanting to find under the tree or in your stocking come Christmas. So let's get into the... Okay, we're back. Oops, there we go. Oh my goodness. Nah, you're still blurry, April. This is so discouraging. I got to talk to the people here at the people at Webinar Jam, find out why we've been getting such blurry feedback lately.
Yeah, it's second week in a row.
I don't find it amusing. I'm not amused by it. Isn't the Quirky Writer cool?
It is very cool.
And the thing is made of solid metal. They're heavy. It's so cool. And you can use it, and you can set it up with up to 3 different Bluetooth devices. So you can have one set up for your computer, another for your notepad, for your, iPad, and another for your phone. So you can actually type on your phone if you want to. I'm not sure why you'd want to. But man, I just now that every time I look at my poor keyboard, it just disappoints me.
Definitely. I think, like I said, when you showed it to me, I think it's perfect gift for a blogger, a writer. That's definitely a nice, definitely a great gift.
Yeah. So Eddie says they're $4.99 at Amazon. I noticed that, Eddie. They're in Canada. That's how much they cost to order them in Canada, which is a ridiculous amount of money. But if you buy it from the States, they will ship it out to you. They tell you that you have to pay your own duty, so they're not too sure. They won't clarify what it is. But with the exchange and the shipping, it works out to about $380 Canadian for the Quirky Writer. So it's not going to come. I'm not going to have one on my desk anytime soon. So now as I type, I just go taka 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 taka, just to try and create the idea from it. All right. So fill me in on the products that you guys are thinking about. We've got a few that were mentioned. Dawn, I think, mentioned, or somebody mentioned the Google Glasses, wondering whatever happened to Google Glass.
Yeah.
Google got into a lot of trouble with the Google Glass. They overreached a little bit with the fact that there was massive privacy concerns, and there was a huge backlash to people wearing them because you could always be being filmed, and people didn't appreciate the invasion of privacy. So Google had to back off on them. They're still being used in some commercial applications, like mechanics and stuff like that are using them as they're working on things. So they've got kind of a commercial application, but in social circles, they are frowned upon. And I don't know when we're going to see the re-inclusion of the of smart glasses. I know that Apple and others are working on the reflective technology without necessarily the camera facing, but the ability to have a heads-up display in the glass so that you can see a display in your vision. And that I think we're going to see sooner rather than later. But as far as a reintroduction of the entire Google Glass ecosystem or Google Glass formula with the camera, I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. There's just way too much concern about that.
Yep, definitely. One of the questions Judy was asking, does the Quirky Writer emulate the key sticking and bunching that typewriters plagued us with?
No, if you hit between 2 keys, will they purposefully stick on you? No, I don't think so. That would be a little bit wild if you got ahead of yourself and it said, and it created a stick. But no, I don't think the switches that it uses will do that. Another comment. Who was it that commented on the standing desk? I do love the standing desks, and the one that they dropped a link for in here, that was Peter. He dropped one from a company called Autonomous, and that looks like a really good price. Now I bought I bought a standing desk when we moved into this into our new house 2 years ago for this office. This is a small one from a company called Fully, Fully. I really like it. It's a great value. It was quite a bit more expensive than the one that the autonomous one, but it also has a really nice solid wood top, and it's contoured. But it has the same smart controls. Yeah, it's automatic. So I've got 5 different locations, heights that I can set it to, and it's one push to raise it. I'm not sure that I would worry about having the fully automatic one. I mean, I think having the power lift and lower is a good idea, but I don't know if you need multiple heights the way that they provide them. I don't take advantage of that myself, but it's, there's a lot of reports that tell us that sitting is the new smoking as far as how it's affecting our lifestyle and our longevity and our health. So the more time that we spend standing, the better off we are. And it just lengthening those muscles, lengthening those leg muscles and the hamstrings and all of those sorts of things is good. And also when you're tired in the middle of the day, if you stand, you can sometimes overcome the fatigue. Although if you do fall asleep anyways, it's much farther to drop. So that's a problem, I suppose. But yeah, the concept of standing desks are terrific. Now, I wonder what you folks think, because, that's only under $400 US for a full standing desk with all of the pieces. But there's always been these third-party devices where you can get, which are they will allow you to retrofit your existing desk with the sit stand. Kind of the scissor lift type thing where you can lift up and you can move your notebook computer or your desktop computer up and down. Wondering, and they aren't a lot. They aren't, the difference in the delta in price isn't that much. But of course, then you don't have to get rid of your existing desk and you still have it, etc.
Can I ask you how often you lift it? Like how often? I don't have a stand-up desk, so how often do you actually use it?
I try to do it every day, to spend time standing every day. I don't always succeed. Sometimes I'm just too lazy. But I always just try and spend like an hour or 2 a day with it in standing mode.
That's where your iWatch is helpful, right? It reminds you to stand, and it reminds you.
There's no such a thing as an iWatch. You folks have to. I saw that being posted earlier. There's no such a thing as an iWatch. It's the Apple Watch. So if you do searching for iWatch, it's not. The Apple doesn't call it the iWatch. It's the Apple Watch.
But anyways, it does remind you to stand and breathe.
It can. I hate the breathing. I turned off that notification right away, as everybody should. It is the most like Apple telling us to sit back and calm down. They can sit back and calm down because they have Apple stock. The rest of us have to work.
I agree. But I do like the time to stand thing, because I think sometimes you get so in the moment that you forget to move around, and then all of a sudden you're stiff.
And that's the one thing that, having some sort of a notification system to remind you to move is great, because how often will you get caught up, locked in a project, and then you realize that you spent 2 hours without moving? That's where Farley comes in quite useful and helpful, because he doesn't let me sit that long without saying, Steve, I want to go outside. So if you don't have a dog, having some sort of notification system is good.
Kathleen was sharing, she said that she got a gift and she has not stopped using it. It's called a Remarkable Digital Notepad. It feels like paper.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and it's basically a notepad. It's a notepad.
So it's very similar to what we were looking at with the Rocket Note.
It is, but it looks like it's more of a tablet style.
It's
like a flat. Yeah. So virtually unlimited pages, all your notes in one place. It converts handwritten text to typed notes. It looks pretty cool. Yeah.
And it feels like paper. Isn't that interesting?
That's what their big selling point is. And that's what Kathleen says. She said it's fabulous.
Now, does it integrate with other apps? Like I guess it'll have a Remarkable app on your computer, right? Just looking at it here.
I don't know. Great product.
Yeah. So what'll happen is it'll sync through to your computer, because you need a way to have it you need it on the computer as well.
Yeah. It says access to your notes and documents on all devices. Apple, Android, Outlook.
Now, it's going to be a single purpose thing as far as for just basically note taking. I think, does it also work as an ebook reader? Because I would hope that it would have that. Because the only concern that I have is that it's kind of a one-trick pony at that point there. It's just for note taking. It doesn't do the other things that your tablet will do. How much do they cost though? Let's take a look.
I don't know.
Not bad in Canadian. Oh,
how much is it?
Wow. No, they're not cheap. I thought it was. I missed a digit. They're new there in Canadian dollars, $749. That is not cheap. So you do have to really love it in order for that.
I think it would be a great gift too for like a college student. You know, like you write notes, or well, obviously they should have to pay for half, of course, seeing that I have a college.
I would want to really take a good solid look at it and discover how, not only for that, I would want to make sure that we had good ways of getting the content out of it as well as into it. So if they're taking notes, but they want to be able to use those notes for submitting reports, etc., how do you get the information out of it? And I guess in syncing through to your computer would be a good idea, but that's quite expensive. I mean, at the end of the day, that is not a cheap tool. I mean, for a student, for $749 Canadian, that covers the cost of a notebook. Right?
So yes, but it's very cool.
It is cool. It is cool, and I'm glad that you use it. And I can see if you are a handwriting person like that, that just the functionality of that sort of a tablet would be awesome.
What I like about it is that
but you got it as a gift. You must have some friends that really like you, Judy.
I know. Judy? What I like about it is I'm a list person, so I write lists, but then I lose my list, which is bad. So at least if I had it in one place to keep all my stuff, that's what I really like about it.
If you do lists a lot, April, you know what you should look at is using Evernote and Swipes on your smartphone. There's a tool called Swipes, which takes Evernote. You can create little checklists, boxes. I'm obviously been doing a lot with Evernote lately. You can create little, using the check boxes in Evernote to create a list. And then Swipes looks for the check marks in all of the notes. And then you can just swipe across to check them off. So that's for list people who like to do lists. Swipes on your smartphone is the way to go. So right. Kathleen is not only do you have wonderful gifts, but you have wonderful friends. If I have any friends that generous, I would take one too. That's cool.
Judy was saying she is saving up for the reclining desk Altwork by Altwork. Huh.
Oh, really?
What is? Is that for you to take a nap during the day? How does that work?
I think
that one you have to have friends in high places for, because I can see the price.
See it here. Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's like a chair attached and
Okay, well that is
like a dentist chair a little bit. Like you go back like you're at the dentist.
That's a lot of yeah. Where is it here?
Altwork.com. Are you looking at it?
Yeah. $4,000.
Kathleen has friends that like expensive gifts though, so maybe her friends will buy it for her. Just kidding.
Really, in this day and age, if you have $4,000,
$4,000, I see $7,600.
Is it? Oh my gosh.
Retail price. Oh,
yeah, I'm not going to endorse the Altwork desk. I think that kind of flies in the face of how we're trying to get healthier in the world, not lazier. So we're going to take a pass on the Altwork desk here at Dottotech. But if you do get it, send us pictures, please.
All right. So, have you ever used Tile for finding things?
Oh, those are cool. No, I haven't used them, but that's a cool little gift, and that's something that's one of those kind of responsible gifts that you can get for people. So these are little tiles that you attach that are like Bluetooth sensors that help you find lost keys or the little things that you can track. They're tracking tiles. They can also be used for very creepy purposes, I suppose, but primarily so that you can find things like it's like Find My iPhone type stuff. Very cool.
Oh, I like that. All right. So then let's see. The new Epson printers that use ink instead of cartridges are great. Peter is mentioning. Oh,
right
you
there.
have
Oh
one.
yeah.
All right.
And we've done a video on it. I love the Epson. They're called the Epson. What are they called? There's one of the inks. One of the ink eco tanks. So there's one of the inks from it. So here's how good the Epson eco tank system is. Epson eco tank. There. This is the second one that I've had, and I bought the cheapest one available on Amazon 2 years ago. And those of you that watch frequently know that my wife Shannon is a teacher, and Shannon prints like crazy. She teachers print and print and print. I used to go through multiple toner cartridges a year on a laser printer that we had, and it would drive me crazy. And it got very expensive printing and doing toner cartridges. I
They are
bought the Epson EcoTank system, and I bought the cheapest one, which was I think $279 Canadian. I used it for a full year on the first fill of ink, and it was just getting empty when Epson reached out to me, and they'd seen it in our videos. I had never actually promoted it, and they'd seen us using it in the video. They'd seen it in the back, and they invited me to New York for the rollout of their newest one. And so we went to. Do you remember that trip? I went to New York a while back.
I do.
And and when I got back from that, they showed me this one. They said, Would you like one?" And I went, "Oh, geez, the one that I've got still works, but the one that I had only printed single side. The newer one prints double sided." So I said, "Yes, please give it to me." So they sent me this one for free. So full disclosure, this is a free printer that I have here. And my other one I recycled. I gave it to a friend of mine, and he's still using it. But whereas we used to go through multiple toner cartridges a year, now a single fill of an ink cartridge lasts us for a full year with all of Shannon's printing. So I am an Epson EcoTank fan.
Nice. So you mentioned Osmo Mobile 3, a great for people who shoot selfies in their own video footage.
So the Osmo, yes, just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
He must be going to show us something, friends.
I'm back. All right, this is it. This is cool. I've got all these things. I should have them all staged somewhere. So this is the Osmo Mobile. I'm not sure if this is the 2 or the 3, but this device, which
it stabilizes your camera, right?
Yeah, it's a stabilizer. So your smartphone fits in here, and then it connects to the smartphone, and it acts as a stabilizer. So very similar to what I was talking about with the selfie stick with the Switch Pod. This does it with smartphones, and but it also you can stick it on a tripod and you can lock it in, and it does face tracking as well. So it'll actually, if you can set it up, and it will move and follow your face with the camera app as well. So that's a cool device for people who, again, for vloggers or for kind of amateur or even more than amateur videographers.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Now, can I get it back in the box here properly? There we go.
So you made mention when I talked about my to-do list swipes with Evernote. So now everybody is asking. So look like Alice, swipes free, and everyone will love it. It's a to-do list that you can easily put off tasks without losing them. I love it. So you have, and what is it? So is Swipes its own application that works?
Yeah,
with
Swipes
Evernote?
is a smartphone application.
Okay, got it.
We'll include that in the email to go out as well. Excellent.
Douglas, I'll install it on my wife's keychain myself. He's talking about the tiles. That's funny.
Oh,
yeah. Gil is saying the Penable pencil as a great replacement for the Apple Pencil. The cost is $39 on Amazon. It does not have pressure sensitivity, but for notes, it totally works. I use it with my iPad mini.
I haven't yet lost a Apple Pencil, so I'm still on my first one. But if I ever lose one, I'm going to be some upset, and then I'll be looking for the cheaper alternatives.
Oh, Peter is saying not high tech, but an awesome item to partake while you work are whiskey and ice ball trays. 'Tis the season. I think when the holidays come, people tend to talk about alcohol more. I don't know what it is. Is it because we see our family? No, I'm just kidding. Not that I would never need to drink.
Peter says I have all the same toys he has.
Leland is saying happy with the Logitech crayon, the thicker size.
Yeah, that's the other one that I'd heard of.
Wolfgang's asking, does the ink dry out on the Epson printer if you don't use it too much?
But I've had it for 3 years now. We've had the printer, 2.5 years. And no, it's I don't think it does. I can't say how long, but when we've gone away for like 3 weeks on holiday and come back, or over the summer with very intermittent printing, I haven't noticed a drought. It's not like the older inkjet printers where, you know, the nozzles would do that. And they do have a fairly aggressive cleaning system so that you can kind of repurge the system.
So let me ask you, what is your favorite geek technology gift you've ever gotten from somebody without asking for it? Something where you least expected it.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Because you buy it for yourself, huh? You always buy what you...
You know, we've been doing this now for 8 years on this channel, and then for nearly 20 years before that, I did the TV show. So anytime anybody had anything, they sent it to me. You know, I was kind of walking down memory lane. We were doing a little bit earlier talking about the iOmega and all that sort of stuff. In technology that I was really enamored with back in the day, and do you remember the Palm Pilot? I mean, When I first got a Palm Pilot, I was like, wow, this is the best and coolest tool. I mean, the first BlackBerry I had was not even the BlackBerry phone. It was the BlackBerry pager, when it was just a pager that allowed you to send texts, little emails back and forth. So, you know, I've been blessed that I've had my hands on every cool piece of technology that there is pretty much from day one. So, yeah. So none of my partners have ever bought me technology thinking that it would be a good idea.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think the best gift I ever got was when, and it's dated now, but it was my Sony video camera. So of course I was a new parent, and it has the little cartridges. But that thing has seen a lot of usage. Even today, we still roll it out and play it on the TV for the kids at holidays. That was definitely the best technical, geeky, sentimental gift. I mean, I love geeky stuff, but
when we think about what we used to go through to take pictures, like back when my kids were born, we had film cameras, right? Obviously, and you know, having an SLR, a single lens reflex camera that we took photos of the kids, then you'd wait for weeks for the film to be developed. I mean, when you consider in video was unheard of. As you say, you were so excited with your kids. The blessing that we have now of capturing all this stuff just on a smartphone is it's ridiculous. It's insane.
Well, the ironic part to that is that my older two, there's a 6-year difference, right? So when my third came along, all of his is recorded on phones. We have very minimal on any of that camera. So
absolutely. So as I thought, the Palm Pilot, it elicited a fair number of responses. I gotta find one. I got rid of all of those. I gotta find one. I think I need one back in my list of cool technologies back there. I mean, I've got an old BlackBerry there, but I don't even have the oldest BlackBerry, and I've got my dad's old Bolex camera. So there we go.
Still have my BlackBerry. I break it out when my son breaks his phone.
You can use it again, do you?
Leland is talking about the ViewMaster.
The 3D.
Yes, they can get those.
Stereoscopic images of like the Grand Canyon and stuff. Yes.
Navi's saying his first computer had 20
megabyte hard drive.
Yeah, I was thinking milligrams.
So if we're going to do these walks down memory lane, when I started back before I did the TV show, I worked at an Apple dealer, and the first computers we were selling were Mac Pluses and Macintosh. Wow. And I don't remember what the exact pricing was of the Mac Plus, but I can still remember the Mac SE, which was still the 9-inch black and white screen, the floppy disk, and we would put a 20 megabyte hard drive in it as an add-on. And we used to sell those. Are you sitting down, April? Guess how much they used to sell for?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea.
$5,200.
Oh,
was the cost of the cost of a Macintosh SE back in the day. Wow. We sold lots of them. And as a sales guy, back in those days, the margin in computer sales was like 30%. So
right.
We made great commission. And when we would sell big installations of 10 or 20 Mac SEs, we made good money back in the day.
I'm sure.
Good fun.
It's funny. It's funny now. You spend like $3,000 or $4,000 on a computer, and you're like, so much.
Yeah. Oh, there's all the baby boomers. Everybody else has just left now because it's just
Apple II Plus.
You know, I can just imagine out there in the middle of our webinar, somebody, as soon as I started talking about the Palm Pilot, somebody said, "Okay, boomer, disconnect." That was it.
So it's fun. IBM 286 for $9,000. Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
It's like a home equity on your house.
Those were like $1985, $1986. So
Commodore
that's like
64.
$15,000 today, or 20,000. I mean, it was just, yeah.
When I was in middle school, that we used Commodore 64s. Those were the big thing in the computer lab.
And what was their marketing slogan?
Oh, I don't know.
I adore my 64.
Well,
I
there you
adore
go.
my 64. Remember that? Yeah. My Commodore
Atari
64.
was the bomb. Atari, yes, Nobby.
Oh, and Jay's remembering the IBM PC Junior. Okay, here's another question for you. Who was the spokesperson for IBM PC Junior?
Oh, I have no idea.
And I know that they'll type it in. We've got the delay here. It wasn't a real person, not alive anymore at the time.
Not a lot. What do you? So they were.
There it is.
Charlie Chaplin.
Leland got it. I wish we had a prize for Leland.
Oh,
Charlie Chaplin.
So funny.
Yeah, for the PC Junior. Yeah, and they had that little chiclet keyboard. That was a terrible. That was, speaking of keyboards, that was a terrible keyboard. Oh my God, that was bad.
Oh, first fax
machine. Oh. You know that here in Canada, you can't communicate with our internal revenue services, except by fax. You can't send them those electronic messages by email. They still use faxes here. I was dealing with Revenue Canada on something. They said, "Would you send us a fax?" I go, no. Yeah,
they have online faxes though now.
Yeah, you can do that as an online, but yeah, the president's calling Canada. The president is calling. We should, yeah. They're all saying, yeah. Yeah, they still use snail mail as well. You got it, Cheryl. Yeah, it's just, and they say it's a security thing. I don't believe it, though. I mean, just come on.
Morris, you have a Peloton.
Oh, that's interesting. That's the Peloton, and I think one's called the Mirror is the other one. They're very.
No, there's an Echelon. I have an Echelon, and they have just the spinning bikes.
No, but there's another fitness service called the Mirror, which is a
where the mirror
for working out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Did you see the controversy on the Peloton ad though? There's a lot of controversy on their Christmas ad. So basically what they have, and she's a beautiful girl, but she's all of 110 pounds, and her husband gives her a Peloton bike for Christmas. And she's like, she goes through this whole thing of getting up every day, and they say, and at the end of the year, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. So there's controversy over how it's a lot of flashback.
Sensitivity to it.
No, it's more about she really didn't need to. Yes, there's the whole, why did her husband give her the bike? She doesn't need to lose weight, like Fitbit versa.
I didn't mean to start quite as much conversation about the Canadian revenue system, and I'd appreciate us stopping talking about it because I don't want to come to their attention in any way, shape, or form.
Good idea.
What's Otto saying about us? Let's check them out. We better check them out. The Fitbit. I originally got a Fitbit. Did you have a Fitbit before you had your Apple Watch?
I did. And you know what I liked really a lot about my Fitbit, which sounds ridiculous, but I don't sleep enough. So I liked that it tracked my sleep and that I could say, okay, I really need to go to bed earlier. I need to do this. So that's what I liked about my Fitbit.
The health benefits of these devices are great. And it is gamification. It's reporting back and allowing us to consistently do the things. But what's interesting now is how, like, if I forget to wear my Apple Watch to the workout, I'm really upset if I work out without my watch on because I want credit.
I agree.
And if I go to the workout and I start working out and I forget to start my watch, it's like we have to start over because I forgot to start my watch. And it's like a terrible conundrum. But it's interesting how needy we are for the feedback or for the positive reinforcement once you start to get it.
Agreed. Yes.
And I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's an interesting commentary on our current state of affairs. And I think, but what I was talking about in the video, I think that the watches are going to be the big one this year. I think that all of the fitness watches, this is the year that they've kind of I think that they take over. When you see somebody, it used to be when you saw somebody wearing an Apple Watch, you noticed. Now, if they have a regular watch, you look at them and go, "What's that for? What can you do with that?"
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because who needs their watch for time anymore?
My husband wears his watch, his regular watch.
I've got a beautiful one that was given to me by Shannon for my 50th birthday, which I love, but it's more of a keepsake, and it's more jewelry than a what do you call it? Than a functional piece.
Oh, look at Gil. If you want to get your geeky friend a great book, find a copy of Dealers of Lightning. It's a history of the Xerox park and all the
Yeah,
inventions. They gave
that would
Steve
be
Jobs.
great. Yeah, so the Palo Alto Research Park Research Company, it's PARC, Palo Alto Research Corporation, was where Xerox did. They had a project called Xerox. Was it Spark? What was it called? Xerox. Oh, it'll come to me in a minute. But Steve Jobs went in. There's a very famous story of Steve Jobs going in there, and this was back in the day when computers were all DOS based and command line based. And Xerox they had a publishing system for publishing magazines and newspapers, which used the mouse for the first time and had a page layout system. And urban legend is that Jobs saw it and stole the idea for the Lisa, which was Apple's precursor to the Macintosh. And it was the beginning of Apple. It was the beginning of the GUI, the graphical user interface of using a mouse and a keyboard to manage the computer, which of course is now the standard. But it all began at Xerox, the Xerox Park facility. And why can't I remember the name? It's on the tip of my tongue, of their publishing platform. Somebody's going to put it forward. Yeah, I'm sure they'll put it in there as well. Xerox Star. It was the Star system, called the Xerox Star, and it was a very expensive but very forward-thinking technology. Other things that were there is the other thing that came out of that was John Warnock worked. I think John Warnock worked there, and he was developing the language because they needed a page description language, and that was the beginning of PostScript, which is the key behind PostScript for desktop publishing, was that you needed a language that would allow you to scale fonts and have them resolve in high resolution and be able to get larger, smaller in what we call WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. You needed a way to translate what you saw on the computer screen to the printed page through an interface. And so all of those technologies began at Xerox PARC. I would love to get that book. Thank you. I think that's a good idea.
So is it just the app called Swipes? The app just called
you're still stuck on Swipes? It's called Swipes, SWIPES.
No, Andrew's asking.
I know.
Morris is asking, is there a wireless connector to connect to an airline screen to connect your wireless headphones?
Yes, I don't know what the name of it is, and actually we just did a story on that. Our last video, we talked about using the AirPod Pros on flights and how the fact that you can't plug into the system makes them not work well. But it's the same kind of Bluetooth repeater that we used to have for the cassette decks in your car, so that you could send music from your phone to your car. So there is a Bluetooth dongle that you can plug into the headphone adapter on the airline, which will then take the feed from the airline's feed and pass it through to your Bluetooth headset. I haven't tested it out, but they are available.
All right. Gil's also
isn't available anymore. Really? Keep talking.
Judy made a comment. I communicate and send documents to the CRA using online all the time. I use my account and email is secure. Keep in mind that our geography and the unfulfilled promise of connectivity across all regions means the CRA must continue to provide the fax methods. Bad rap, not fair.
I'm sorry.
Called AirFly Pro to connect AirPods. That's the name of the app. YouTube Computer Chronicles for a look back at the classic TECG gadgets.
Cool. Yeah, Swipes doesn't seem to be here anymore. Where did Swipes go?
I see Good Task. Stick me notes. Swipes for .me.
The personal to-do list manager. Maybe you have to type in swipe app. Maybe that's it. Swipe app. No, that brings up Disney princesses.
Yeah. Or no, that's actually a dating app that it brings up on my end.
Swipes personal. Take back control of your time.
Oh, it looks like Jay found it. Is it not available anymore when you click on it?
It says request early access, so maybe it's being reimagined or something, but it does not. Stay on top of your projects, tasks. Oh, so it's been pulled. For some reason, it's not there right now. So it's going to be $6 annually. Okay, I'm sorry. I prematurely spoke. This app was available a little while ago, so I'm surprised that it's not there anymore.
Let me put the story in.
Okay. Swipe on your browser. It says no longer available in our country. Yeah, we got it, Leland. Yeah, same thing here. Here's the story and what's happening with it. Oh, Nobby has it. What is the future swipe? So how long ago was this published?
I don't see the date. So it's
okay. Well, at any rate, it was a bad suggestion. Okay. All right. So we're up to 2:00. We've done an hour. So we've managed to take a look at quite a few different gifts ideas. Yeah, if I happen to see that keyboard come, thank you to whoever's thinking about sending it to me. I appreciate it. I'm not sure if I have friends as nice as, who was it, Margaret, that has the friends giving her the $700 tablets?
Oh, Gil said a new device coming to Kickstarter called the Phone Book. It's a laptop with a 5.6 touchscreen and keyboard. It uses your phone as the CPU.
Oh, I've seen some of those ideas before. That's an interesting idea. Cool stuff. All right. Well, listen, we're going to send out an email with all of the links, all of the ones that are currently active that we talked about today. Next week, it's going to be our last webinar Wednesday of the year, because after that, it's only 2 weeks from Christmas, April.
No, it's not.
It's not? Is it 3 weeks?
No.
Let me see. No, we have the 9th. Oh, no. We've got 2 more before Christmas.
I was like, no, not ready.
Let's take a look. Next week? Yeah, we've got 2 more, and then so we've got 2 more weeks. So let me just check to make sure that I know what we've got coming up next week, because we've been so busy with other things. So we're doing digital decluttering, and I've got so we've got one. I'm not too sure if it's next week or the following week. We're doing digital decluttering. So it's all going to be now. Our next 2 webinar Wednesdays are December, looking forward to 2020, making it a good year, being productive, being on top of things. So there'll be a lot more serious type content coming up. But I wanted to have the fun one. I wanted to have at least one good fun Christmas episode before then. So that's it. Yeah, you're not ready. I'm not ready either. That's it. We'll wrap things up. Send you an email with the links of the products we talked about. Thanks so much for sharing, and thanks for participating as usual. April, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you next week. Steve's going to be a bit more festive next week, too.
What's that?
You're going to